Hi, I'm Charlie Reimer, Executive Vice President of Macklemore, and I'm thrilled to be alongside PGA Tour player who represents Macklemore on the PGA Tour, Stephan Jaeger. So, Stephan, you've got this really amazing story that started in a little town outside of Munich. How in the world did you get from Munich to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and to Baylor School?
Yeah, it was actually because I was on the German golf team, and it was kind of my goal eventually to play professionally. You just don't know at 15 or 16. They had 3 schools picked out for me. One was the IMG in Hilton Head. One was Stevenson, which is at Spyglass Hill in California, and one was Baylor School in Chattanooga. Obviously, with Baylor, Harris was obviously the face of Baylor at that point. He was probably one of the highest recruited high school kids in the country at that time, and they just had a really good team. And it was on the East Coast, which for Germany wasn't too far away. That kind of took Stevenson out of the picture, and my parents were like, IMG, I'm pretty sure that's pretty much you're playing golf in school and secondary. They still wanted that education of Baylor School. So I never even visited Baylor before I came. So we decided, hey, we're going to go do this for 1 year. Academically, it was really tough. Golf-wise, it was easy. I mean, we had such a good team. All the guys kind of invited me. Still some of my best friends are from that time. Even the families that are surround Baylor, it's such a big community in Chattanooga that I just felt at home. And I almost didn't come back for the second year. I was like, this was way too tough. But then, long story short, I was like, hey, I want to play college golf in the United States. It would be easier to call for college coaches to see me play in the States in the summer. So we decided we're going to do the second year. My parents and I, and it was a game changer the second year. I changed dorms, so I had a lot more of my buddies around me, and that's how I met Coach Partridge, who's a coach now. He was a dorm parent for that 1 year, so he'd lived in the dorms, and he was a big golfer, so we kind of had some leeway with that, on leaving campus, and it was awesome. School was much easier second year, and we obviously still played amazing golf. And that's pretty much how Chattanooga as a whole came into my life. I'm glad I made this decision to go to UTC. We had a couple great runs, and we're number 1 in the nation for a little bit in Division I. That was the first time in school history, and first time made it to nationals, and won regionals my senior year as a team. It was just such a cool, we kind of made history in that program, and I'm glad I was part of it. And obviously they're kind of trying to rebuild right now and get back to that standard. But that's how I stayed in Chattanooga, and it kind of sucked me in that sense of kept me around. So
you mentioned King a couple of times in reference to the late King Emig, who is in a golf royal family. His dad, Lou Emig, was 2-time USGA senior amateur champion. Had a chance to play a lot with Mr. Emig over the years, with King Emig over the years. We lost him a few years ago. We lost King way too soon. But I imagine when you come from Germany to the United States to play, and you mentioned the relationships that you have, feeling that family connection, King had to be a big part of that.
For sure, he picked me up. I won't forget the story ever. He picked me up. I got in late afternoon. I don't know what day of the week it was, but we had the preview tournament at the Honors the next day. So I flew all night, obviously from Germany. I stepped in the dorms by myself because nobody was there. School wasn't in session yet. And he picked me up the next morning. We went through, I want to say it was Hardee's. I had never heard of Hardee's or I didn't know what a biscuit was. I was like, what is this? I can't eat this. So from that point forward, he would always, all these guys would get Hardee's for breakfast. He would pick me up like a European style. He'd pick me up a bagel or something.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of guy he was. He would take care of his guys, and it's just I've found so many great Southern hospitality people in Chattanooga that I was not used to. I was not used to, hey, yeah, come stay with us for 2 weeks. I'm like, what? Wow, this is awesome. So that's just kind of the people that are surrounding Baylor and surrounding Chattanooga that just kind of drew me into.
You played some great golf at Baylor. You played great golf at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Trying to get from college golf to the PGA Tour took a little bit longer than you would have hoped for, I would assume. But in playing the Korn Ferry Tour, which is the second best tour in the world, you have 6 wins on that tour. Nobody's won more than 6 times on that tour. And when you look at the PGA Tour today, with few exceptions, practically every player on the PGA Tour got there by spending time on the Korn Ferry. Those 6 wins, the experience that you had playing that tour, how are they helping you as you finished up your rookie year now on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, so, I've always been somebody that took it. It takes me a couple years to get comfortable where I am. In college, I didn't really win anything until my junior year in college. So it took me my third year to even win an event. And then I think I ended up winning 4 college events my last year and a half. I got on the web.com, which is the Korn Ferry now, my first year out of college. I played, I think, 13 events. I made, 3 or 4 cuts, made like $13,000.
Good thing you had these families in Chattanooga to
Jesus,
stay
yeah,
with for 2 weeks.
God, I'd have been broke I was pretty broke for a long time. But the point being is, like, I took me from probably, I played a year on Latin Tour, 14, and then 15, 16 on the Korn Ferry full time. It took me another 2 or 3 years to win my first time out there. It was 2016. And then didn't get my card. I went back 17, won twice, got my PGA Tour card for the first time. So it actually really took me 4 years to get comfortable on the Korn Ferry, comfortable playing professional golf. It's totally different than college.
Yeah.
It was back then anyways. Now it's a little bit closer. But so my first year on tour, it just kind of, it's hard to watch golf all the time and play against the same guys that you watch all the time. I mean, at that point, Phil was fully and Tiger was fully playing, all these guys are like, Adam Scott, they were in their prime. So, like I said, it took me a couple years to feel comfortable around those guys, feel comfortable with different golf courses. And gosh, I mean, the West Coast, you play like 9 golf courses in 3 weeks. You got to see them all. So once again, this year was the first time I know other golf courses. I feel comfortable with all the guys that are out here. I grew up pretty much playing college golf with most of them. So it's just a comfort level for me. I've always had the self-belief in my game is good enough. And for me to show myself late in the year this year, hey, you know what? You can compete not even with your best stuff, but with your second best stuff is really exciting for the future.
Well, the most important bubble in golf is that 125 and FedEx Cup points. The difference between finishing 125 in a season on tour and 126 is vast. You're fully exempt now for the first time. You can sit down now and plan your schedule for the 2023 season. But you rode that bubble just about the entire year. Tell me a little bit about the emotion of riding that bubble, especially as the tournaments are running out, and you're right there, 130, 135, just on the outside looking in. That's a tough thing to do.
It's stressful. It really is. And I think people don't realize how stressful that is, not really knowing what you're going to do the next year. I mean, obviously I know I'm going to play golf. That's a no-brainer. I don't have a desk job that I'm going back to. But you've got to realize, hey, that top 125 is where you want to be at least. I mean, obviously your goals are higher than that. But for me to, I had a couple of good finishes in a row. It was like late May, early June. I finished 6th at TPC Potomac in Washington. Finished 15th the week after, which kind of got me into that top 100 at that time. And, just how golf is, I had a bad Sunday at Byron Nelson, and I wanted to ride that wave a little longer. And I missed a couple cuts after that, and You go into, I want to say I go into Detroit 133rd.
Yep, you were. I was watching you.
Well, trust me, I was too. And you know that, like, hey, I just got to play well. The outside noise is what the problem is, the pressure I put on myself is the biggest. We ended up, Saturday was stressful. And then Sunday I started with a bogey, a 3-putted. I mean, my hands it was bad. I was like, I can't even make contact on a putt. And the more you play, I made a good up and down on 2, and it showed me, hey, you know what? I really felt terrible today. But I ended up, I don't know what I shot on Sunday. I think it was 3-4 under. Pretty good, pretty good score. And I ended up finishing 5th, one shot out of 2nd, and kind of locked me up in a sense of, like, I knew I was in the top 125. And Wyndham was a lot easier this year than it has in the past. Normally Wyndham is the last tournament of the year, and you're just stressing. You're like, hey, I just got to make the cut and get a chance. And for me, it was a little easier. And we unfortunately for some got a break on making the cut there. And I mean, I shot 62 on Sunday to finish, I think, 13th. So it was cool to do that late in the year. Played okay last week in Memphis. I think I kind of ran out of steam on that one. I think 8 in a row.
Well, to make the cut in Memphis, you played the last 5 holes at 4 under, I believe.
Yeah.
And made the cut right on the number.
I did. Yeah, that was honestly, I was ready. I was ready to go home. I told my wife afterwards. I was like, hey, sometimes you miss the cut. I've had a great year, no matter what happens that week. And I don't know. It was weird. I birdied 15 and got really lucky on 16 and chipped in for eagle. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is what's happening here. And 17 at Memphis is one of the toughest holes on tour, really. And I just pumped the drive, hit a 9-iron to 15 feet and made it. And I'm on the number on the cut line. I'm like, what just happened? It's just like you're in such a zone at that point that you're, 18 is not an easy par. And I ended up making par and making the cut. And didn't do what I wanted to do on the weekend, but, it was kind of like the icing on the cake in the end. I'm really happy with my year, my end of the summer. Finish 89th. That was the highest finish of my career, which is awesome.
A lot of people still to this day don't realize the PGA Tour doesn't follow the calendar. So 2022 is in the books. 2023 season starts really quickly. Mm-hmm. The beginning part of the PGA Tour season now in the fall, some players sort of blow it off, but you've got some momentum with the big finish. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about goals in particular early for the 2023 season.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm playing good. I kind of have my rhythm on what I need to be doing on the golf course and on off weeks, and I'm ready. I'm excited. I really am. I was excited for this couple week break that I have, but I also know that I'm a pretty good spot right now on my golf game and my mental, my mindset. You can kind of play free a little bit. And, if you play free in golf, you're going to be able to do better than if you're tightening up. So I like a lot of the golf courses in the fall as well. So for me, it can't get here fast enough. I'm excited to play. I'm excited to travel again and keep that momentum up, like you said.
Well, here at Macklemore, we're thrilled to have you as part of the team. Tell me a little bit about when you first set eyes on Macklemore, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of told the story. I went here. I've played the golf course before it was Macklemore. It was raw. It was, there was not much here. And, it's within 40 minutes of Chattanooga. So it's, it would have been a cool place to go. And then we went back. My wife and I had dinner up here, and it was you kind of drive in, and the clubhouse was moved obviously to this spot, and you drive up and you see the view. You're like, whoa, what happened here? Who, obviously it wasn't, the hype wasn't as it is now. And I remember immediately I told my wife, like, hey, I want to be part of this. And that's how this, kind of communication with the right people and you obviously came into effect. And what the future holds for this place is so exciting. I think that's what I think. In a sense, you kind of showed me the potential and what the future holds, and that's what I'm really excited about. You know, like it calms me down up here. It kind of gives me it gets me away from the stress of every week. You know, we play such a high pressure situations. I can come up here, I can relax. It's quiet. I don't hear anything. It's, you know, you're just kind of by yourself up here, and that's what drew me to it. And that's why I'm so excited to be a part of it, and I'm so excited what the future holds for it, for sure.
Well, earlier today, we had a chance to walk the site of our new golf course that's very much under construction. You commented, this is a spiritual place. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the new outpost that'll be here and open basically in 2 years now.
Yeah, you know, we went probably in the winter at some point. I didn't see much. It was just kind of a plaque, and I saw some views. And when we drove down today, like once again, it's like you come up here and it just feels calming in a sense. Especially there, it's such a cool piece of property that normally wouldn't be used for a golf course. Here you get to see these views, you get to see the terrain of the land that will probably, I mean, you guys are not going to touch that much, and that's the cool part. It pretty much sets up to be this unbelievable scenic but also championship golf course that I think people go on the first tee and they're going to be done with 18 holes, and they're going to have, you know, some drinks in the 18th, you know, at the outpost, and they're going to be like, wow, that was special. That's, you know, like I said, I'm super excited to the whole package deal here. You know, you've got the hotel coming in, you've got the stay and play packages, you've got these two golf courses that are totally different.
One of the things that surprises people about Macklemore, we've got between 2,200 and 23 feet of altitude here. It gives you a little bit of break on the temperature in the summertime, which is nice. But the thing that break does is allow us to have bent grass greens that stay firm and fast throughout the year. And you just don't see that in the South hardly at all. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on being able in the summertime to putt on bent that's firm and fast.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about this earlier. On tour, you have so many different grasses and options and, you know, putting surfaces from Bermuda to Poana to bent. So you've got to be able to adjust pretty quickly to different surfaces, and for me to be able to play, you know, off bent grass greens and then chip off the Bermuda and then chip off, it gives me another option of like, hey, you know, I'm playing on bent grass next week. I'm gonna be I'll come up here more than I, you know, would normally. Or if you know, like, hey, I've got some golf courses where there's big drop offs or there's big, you know, it's a different feel of, you know, hitting a tee shot on one at the Highlands. It just looks different than you would on any other golf course. So for me to be able to expand my repertoire of golf courses I can play is, I mean, it's incredible. And especially with the outpost coming as well, that'll give another option of like, hey, you know what? Like, I need to work on this for this week on tour. I can come out here, I can, you know, grab some balls and work some stuff on the golf course, which I love to do anyway. So for me to be able to come to a place like that and have different options and different surfaces to practice on is awesome. Is thrilling for sure.
Well, Stephan, congratulations on a really solid 2022 season on the PGA Tour. You're fully exempt for 2023. We look forward to watching you play some great golf, and welcome to the Macklemore team.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie.